Okay, welcome everyone. So this is the second week post Jumpstart. We're trying to get into some of the details that are most important for our progress. We don't have to keep hitting our head against the wall. There's clear, simple information to help you get to your next road post from where you are today. And that's for both fat loss and muscle gain, which combined is called improved body composition. So today we're going to talk about the most important macronutrient. So last week we highlighted fiber as the most important nutrient that is often forgotten. And we still have to continue to track. And keep in mind, 45 is the bottom necessary amount in grams that you should be aiming for each day. If you can go higher, the better. That's going to be a foundation throughout your eating journey for life. As we'll learn here, the people who are not aware of this information, unfortunately, and who haven't implemented some of it into their routines daily, they're asking for help, but often it's a little bit late, the conditions that happen when you don't implement that. So I'm your coach and educator, physician by training and lifestyle by specialty, and I'm happy to help you on this educational journey. These educational sessions are for your benefit in improving your lifestyle. They don't substitute medical treatment or advice. Please continue to consult your physicians, even if that's me, for any questions or concerns that come up during our time together. So detail number one that I highlighted, fiber is so important, and we're going to continue on to our journey. The things that it helps with, we talked about heart health, metabolic health, reducing specifically colon cancer, improving our microbiome. Metabolic health includes diabetes. If everyone focused on this fiber, a lot of these associated conditions would go away and the weight loss would come. There's no one magic bullet. It's a combination of a lot of little things that lead to a canvas that looks different. On average, we learned that most Americans are getting 10 to 15 grams a day. That's probably still where some of you are. If you're not aware and not adjusting, that's just what gets taken in daily. 95% of American adults don't consume the recommended fiber. What's the recommended? Just 28 grams a day. He knows the importance of having a fit and strong and healthy body as he gets older. And he talks on YouTube and everywhere else about the importance of protein. And he's always got a protein shake in his hands for good reason. So I'm going to prescribe for you today what the amount of protein should be on your MyFitnessPal when you happen to hit the macronutrient instead of the nutrient tab to take a look. For women, it should be 75 grams a day or 25 grams per meal. Again, your only job is to plug in the food that you eat and see what it gives you. That's it. For men, 90 grams daily. And these are the bare minimum, 90 grams daily, which breaks down into 30 grams 3 times a day. So for you who are interested in building muscle for longevity, because muscle is the fountain of youth as we get older, frailty kills. Whether you're obese or skinny, frailty means lack of function. And a bigger person can also be frail because they can be debilitated and not able to move. So 25 grams per meal 3 times a day is now another thing to track. And it's the only thing that I'm adding to the fiber for us to continue to track. So a lot of muscle here, it just seems to have gone away. What happened to all his muscle? We generally lose about 25% of our muscle as we get older. That's just a given for anybody, let alone a bodybuilder. So if you haven't been building, whatever you have now, expect 25% of it to just be gone. So at 75 years young, he not only trains regularly, he's also feeling great, which is the most important. See, it's okay to be large, to be big, but make sure it's muscle. And this is what's going to carry you on. I mean, it's hard to believe he's already 75, but 75 can be youthful, it can be energetic, it could be vitality if you are careful about how you're building this physical structure. On the other hand, frailty is not something that is to be expected with age. It is technically a medical condition with an ICD-10 code. So it's a medical diagnosis because it's not something that's expected to happen. This happens with lack of information and with poor planning. Just like somebody can find themselves, financially in disarray at old age, they can also be stripped of their health from lack of planning. So frailty is a medical condition, not an inevitable result of aging. And just as an aside, in this age of sitting for our jobs, post-COVID, work from home, sedentary lifestyle, middle-aged women who sit a lot are at risk of frailty. And that goes for men as well. I did mention up to 25% of our muscle is gone by the age of 70. So if you're already in your 50s and 60s, know that if there isn't a plan to maintain your physical structure, it's not going to just stick around. The bones and the skin will stay, and the muscle, which is the mechanism of movement, will be frail. So I did have an occurrence just this past weekend at my local grocery store where I went to get my monthly shopping, and I had things on the belt, and an elderly lady was behind me, very sweet. She had been shopping in the protein drink aisle, all those Ensures, the Boost, big business now. Why? Because everybody's trying to catch up. Protein drinks for the elderly, protein, and they realized, and she even said to me, yeah, I need the protein. Yes, it's not too late, but it is a lot harder to reverse frailty once it happens. And it is inevitable, I say, only if we do nothing. So in essence, sometimes it's a choice by default, or maybe lack of information. This loss of muscle is just something that happens if there is no planning for it. So only two things stimulate muscle growth, and that's how we eat and then moving or using that muscle. It's as simple as that. So what we're breaking down here is, well, what should the food have? Well, we talked about fiber, 45 grams a day, and now we're adding in protein, 75 grams a day for women, 90 for men. It gets down to that simple, but things can be so simple and so clear and yet not done. And the universe says, okay, well, I have to give you back exactly what is deserved. And the body is literally a representation of how we treat it with nutrition, with movement, with our mindset, etc. So it's not like most of what you eat will be protein. When we talk about 75 grams for women and 90 grams for men, it still will account for less than the carbohydrates. Most people will still end up eating more carbs. And whatever fat you eat will still account for more of the calorie portions, because the fat is densely high calorie food. So this is the section that tends to be a little bit forgotten. And so I just want to highlight how important it is to think about this. It doesn't mean you have to eat meat. There are other non-animal-based protein that can help you get that 75 and 90 grams. Critical, lean mass maintenance, and especially caloric deficit, meaning if you're losing weight and you're eating a lot less, make sure the one thing that you eat is your protein and your fiber, meaning it's going to be a meat and a vegetable, or some kind of a protein and vegetable. That's it. So carbohydrates will find their way into your foods no matter what. And when we get to the growing point for some of you where you're adding on muscle. We choose some really good carbohydrates that can add some dense fibers to your body, and fats are very important, and keeping good fats in will always be there. So a good foundation for a well-built and well-maintained physical structure includes ready meals with protein that we know is enough for what we need daily, and strength training. So just to review here for the grams for women and the grams for men, and the movement. So some people don't like to go to the gym. That's okay. You can go to your park as long as there's resistance in your training. We're not talking cardio, but resistance, whether that's with bands, doing body weight exercises. The muscle to stay there has to be stimulated. And the stimulations are in protein intake that actually stimulates muscle synthesis, and in training that is for strength and resistance. So staying active, playing outside, all that is good. Keep the fiber high. So this is the message that I have for you today. I keep it clear so that we can actually execute on these, because more information without transformation is not good. Let's see what we can do with starting to plug in what we eat and actually seeing the reality of, why our body is the way that it is. I know it's not easy. I did mine and I showed you. I know I have a lot more experience doing this and it's easier for me, but I want to be sure that every one of you gets the chance to do this and show it, because once you do this and show it to somebody else, it will be a lot easier for you to have an idea of what your food is giving you, of what